Time start. Hello, my name is Adam Piasecki, and this is a video in regards to the assignment number 2 from the subject of programming. I'm going to be discussing here a game I came up with from the first stages of it to the final stage. The game is a simple race game. It's very exciting. It's a motorcycle game that in the beginning takes the amount of games that the player would like to play, and then takes in a simple string which basically then will be displayed at the very end in the results section. As you can see on the game, we can see a couple of arrays in place. The first one and most difficult one for me was the one drawing trees, which was created at the very beginning, so it took me about 3 days to accomplish. These trees are drawn randomly between the value of 1 and 2. Once 1 is drawn, then the small tree is drawn. Once 2 is returned, then the big tree is drawn. And as you can see, about 3 trees are drawn per second, both, in total on left and right hand side. Then another interesting part of code here is a drawing of this white mark lines. That's achieved by using a simple for loop with an if statement. Originally I wanted to create a class, but I decided against it just because it's such a simple pattern. It could be executed with a simple for loop. Another class that I had to create was a class motorbike, which class Hayabusa, and a class car. These store also all the codes responsible for these items. Score is based here on the amount of frames displayed by program until now, and if the driver of a motorbike hits the car, the minus 250 points is taken under consideration as a penalty and is being deducted from the total score achieved by the player. So in here in this code we can see void setup. In the void setup, JOption pane takes the values from the user. In a void draw, we can start here with the integer penalty. We have here the information displayed in the top left corner of the window that basically says what is the current speed of a motorcycle, and also says how many points the user gathered until now. We have a for loop here, which is responsible for drawing marks on side of the road. Below we can see another loop. This one, on the other hand, is responsible for the central part of the road marks. Then we are witnessing here the loop that is responsible for drawing trees on left and right hand side of the road. It's doing that by using the arrays, and it's very important to initialize the array by stating that in the beginning it's empty, or sorry, it's null. Then we move on to draw trees, and draw trees is achieved by using the draw trees bespoke method at the very bottom of the screen. We also has here condition. If life lost, our number is smaller than maximum lives per game. And then what we use here is that's basically score. Score is an integer. It takes value of the total frame count and subtracts the penalty mentioned earlier on from the total score. That's basically responsible for the information here scored on the left hand side of the game, and also on the right hand side of the screen, as we can see here. Then we have a Boolean condition: hit car, bike, truck. This is collision. This is responsible now here for the collision detection. If the truck is hit, then it resets its value, and also lives lost goes up by 1. If, however, conditions of this beginning of if statements are not met, basically we're having a simple screen used or presented by JOption pane that asks the user, does he want to continue or does he want to stop the game, and then we have total amount of then we have displayed all the information in regards to the scores achieved. Here we can see the void trees, draw trees, the bespoke method, which is responsible for drawing trees on the left and right hand side of the road. The amount of we initializing it by using dot length method. So basically checking the length of the array trees, and further on with few Boolean conditions we're increasing the location of the X. So basically trees on the left hand side are drawn from 50 to 150, and if the conditions are met on the right hand side, then the coordinates the trees are drawn plus 800, from 850 to 950. I had a problem here. When I was writing a code, I had like all the trees would draw immediately without being displayed as I wanted it by using this frame count here. So they would all be drawn suddenly, and then they would disappear and reset, and all the trees would be drawn again. So what I had to implement was this break, and basically break can be used only in the loops. So I used the break, and after using the break, all the trees are now being drawn in the sequence specified here. So basically that's just the modulo that is responsible for returning when remainder is equal 0. So if our game is 60 frames per second, obviously we will have 3 trees drawn per second. Further on, we have a very simple code or bespoke method for drawing a road. That is taken from Veni Vidi Vici. I was extremely happy to make the marking code implemented in this here method draw marks by using simple for loop. That basically saved me from creating another class for the mark, as I think it was actually pointless. Then we have another further Boolean conditions in relation to the collision detection, and at the very end we have also bespoke method reset game, which is responsible for resetting the game to its initial stage, and obviously tournament over, which displays information in relation to all points achieved. Going through the classes, there's few fields here in the class. These are variables necessary for the display of the car, which is x coordinate, y coordinate, speed of the car, height and width of the truck. Then we have a constructor here that takes in 2 values, sets the car and resets the car if it's necessary. We have here the condition or bespoke method hit basically calls to it calls to method reset car. We have also bespoke method called move, which is responsible for moving a car on the y-axis and the speed of a car. We have here some reset position once the car leaves the screen. So if the y-coordinate is bigger than height, it means that the car left the screen, so the car respawns on the very top of the screen. And this is the display method is responsible for displaying the whole car, a couple of getters and setters, and the bespoke method discussed before. In the class Hayabusa, we also have a couple of variables here. These are under consideration while driving the bike. Void display, the display method is responsible for the total look of a motorbike, including the Bitcoin sign on the helmet. We also have a method called moveBike, which basically moves the motorcycle within the range of 225 and 775. And by using this if statement here, we basically locking the x coordinate to 225 if it's on the left, and 775 if the value goes above 775. I locked also the motorcycle to 500 on the y-axis, so we move it on the left and right. And again, a couple of getters and setters to readme reflection and the class tree, which is responsible for drawing trees. Thank you very much for your time. I understand how difficult now recording videos is, and I'm looking forward to next assignment.